let's check out what the numbers will look like on the P&L. We have Anil Gupta of ICRA joining us. Anil, good morning. Thank you very much. Any idea what would be the total banking sector exposure to loans like these under 25 crore given to MSMEs?
Yeah, hi, good morning. See, total credit from the banking sector to MSME loans for MSME sector should be close to around. Yeah, hi, good morning. See, total credit from the banking sector to MSME loans for MSME sector should be close to around 10 lakh crores. Apart from there should be additional 2 lakh crores from the NBFCs also. And under this dispensation, which has been there since I think January of 2018, where the RBI gave first forbearance that the GST registered MSMEs could be having a relaxation up to 180 days in terms of classification of NPA. So since then, we have been tracking these numbers, like how much dispensation has been availed across various banks. So that number is not quite large as of now, and it is less than 10,000 crores across all the banks. But with this circular in place, because earlier the June circular talked about that this the forbearance will reverse by May of 2019. So the banks were required to revert back to 90-day NPA norms by May 2019. So possibly the incentive for the borrower as well as the lender for a longer term restructuring was not there. But with this guideline,
it is only 10,000 crore, you think, by way of NPAs. Would not more people avail of it and more potential NPAs be saved?
Yeah. So 10,000 crores is the number which is currently not classified NPA and currently under dispensation.
Got it.
But with this circular in place, now the borrowers which are, let's say, 30 plus or 60 plus overdue will now the benefit of this scheme for a restructuring, try to take a longer tenor repayment schedule with some moratorium on interest servicing also.
Okay.
So there is a likelihood that this number will eventually go up, because the scheme talks about that the implementation of restructuring can be done till March of 2020. So a borrower which is, let's say, which becomes overdue in the month of, let's say, Q1 or Q2 can also basically add up to the overall restructuring number by March 2020.
Anil, a simple question. We've got veterans of the sector like Mr. Uday Kotak almost a year back pointing out whether there's sort of stress really building up in the MSME sector and the need to be far more granular with due diligence as well on these loans. Now with this, ease coming in from the RBI as well, simple question, is this kind of papering over what could start becoming a festering problem, or, that's just, taking things too far right now, getting over worried?
No, definitely, such a forbearance will definitely spoil the credit culture, because earlier the borrowers were sticking to their repayment schedule. Now with this forbearance, definitely any borrower will come forward and try to get a restructuring with a longer repayment schedule. So overall, it will be not a good for the credit culture for the borrowers.
Okay. There is, since we have you with us, what's your take on this 59-minute loan? Will that also, will that open the door to too many loans which can go bad, or is that actually a safer way to give MSME loans?
Yeah, so it all depends on how you collateralize and how you securitize the loan. See, the RBI Financial Stability Report talks much about the MSME loan this time. And if you look distribution,
they're overly distributed at the PCA, PSU banks.
Difference
I agree
between
with you.
the level of NPAs. So it all depends on how you collateralize the loan, what is the repayment schedule you fix. So it is not a bad asset class in terms of risk and reward ratio, but it depends on how you collateralize the loan.
Anil, since you've been studying, how banks have availed the earlier relaxation, the dispensation given by RBI, can you share any names with us? Which are the banks that are likely to benefit the most? Because now they don't have to classify this as NPA.
Whose exposure is maximum to MSMEs?
See, we have seen banks if you talk about the dispensation amount which was available in the September results. So for a large bank like State Bank of India, the amount was not very large, less than around 1,000 crores. Whereas we saw some of the small banks, like with the loan book of less than lakh crores also, having a number closer to SBI. So it all depends on the follow-up which the branch does with the borrowers. We saw a significant decline between the June results and the September results. So one of the banks had the dispensation amount with the borrowers closing to around 800 crores on a balance sheet of 50,000 crores, which declined to less than 60 crores in one quarter. So it depends on how the branch follow-up.
All right. Okay, fair enough. And just a final question to you. You know, there is this 59-minute loan, there are the Mudra loans, and there is this forbearance, following up on an earlier forbearance. This is not a small amount of money, 10 lakh crore if you say is the exposure to MSME, and you have so many schemes. In course of time, will it become a systemic problem, like, some 2-3 lakh crore turning out as NPAs, maybe a year down the line, 2 years down the line, or are we worrying too much?
No, I think definitely it is not good from the credit culture, and it should, I think the number should go up. It all depends on how the banks educate the borrowers to not to avail these schemes for their long-term benefits. But I think the number should go up significantly. Whether it will touch a lakh crore, it is very difficult to say.
All right. We'll leave it at that. Anil Gupta, thank you very much for putting some numbers and some understanding into what the RBI announced yesterday for MSMEs.